Hello there friends! On Sunday evening, we saw perhaps the best final in the history of CSGO. And these are not my words, many pro players think so too. NBK wrote about it, Simple talks about it, and even Insider Nell. On the 5th decisive map with a score of 13-14, FaZe made a very simple yet a brilliant round, 2 times in a row, and due to this, won IEM Cologne. Someone calls it a historical smart decision by Carrigan, and someone considers it a stupid mistake made by Navi. Well, let's figure out what it's all about. Let's talk a little bit about the finale itself. First of all, it became known that it broke all records online. At its peak, the final was watched by more than 1,200,000 people total. This is a record, of course, without considering the majors. Well, secondly, Simple threw away his medal for the second place. Sasha needs a victory only. And also, there were a lot of posted interviews with the participants of the final on HLTV. First in line is Carrigan. I think it's the first time a best of 5 final finally showcases what it can do with 2 of the greatest teams. We maybe had a couple of missed calls on Nuke, but we figured out what we needed to do in the 13-14 round. Then Russell TWISTZZ wanted to repeat the call again, and we did it a bit different. He just jumped on main and got the entry. That's the showcase of how great this team is when we're in this type of moment. Everyone can chip in with small ideas and we do it all together, and with TWISTZZ's aim, when he wants to do something, you just let him go. We're the best team in the world when you look at the results of this season. 4 trophies to us, 1 to Cloud9, 1 to Navi. There's no discussion that we're the best team in the world, and I'm super happy to see Navi perform at this level so far with Young. They're definitely coming back next season to try and grab that first place. Well, it turns out that those rounds were not thought through by Carrigan, but by TWISTZZ. Here's what he says about it. This is what everyone wants. This is what we want. And this is what the community wanted. An amazing best of 5 final between the number 1 and number 2 teams to decide who's the best going into the second half of the year. This might be the best final ever in Counter-Strike, honestly. Those 2 decisive rounds on Nuke are my idea. For me, the strat was called pretty much back to back but had different variations. It was actually a strat 1 created a while ago, but we don't really use it often. It's called Canada. And yeah, I was pretty upset with an earlier 1 versus 1 I lost against Perfecto. I felt like that was the round that wins the game if I won that. Maybe I shouldn't put that pressure on myself, but we took a tactical pause and Robin called my favorite round on Nuke and made it happen. Hearing the crowd chant after every entry kill are the moments I live for and my team lives for. I can say my team worked endlessly night and day, we worked every minute. It turns out this is who came up with this round, and Navi seems to be ready for it. Here's what Simple said in an interview for HLTV. It felt great until we lost the round of A when they did an execute twice in a row and just went out on A. We felt like we had this comeback. I think this was the hardest final that I've ever played, and all 10 players from this final and the coaches, they get a huge amount of experience. It just failed on CT side, I think. On Mirage and on Nuke, especially on Nuke. We knew they were going to do this execute, but some of our players forgot we need to take main. We need to smoke door and take main, but it's only because of new spots. Hopefully in the future, if we keep playing with the same roster, have the same energy and the same amount of preparation, we're going to play much better. And this is the part that makes me happier. I'm looking forward to practice as much as possible with this team and to win all tournaments. And just to beat FaZe next time, because this one was very interesting and a hard game. And I'm pretty sure that in the future, we're going to play much better and it's going to be a different result. Here's a different kind of Sasha Simple that is head over heels about the game. That's actually nice to watch. And so different from what happened before the blast. I don't know what's next. I'll take a break. I'm exhausted. When the team succeeds to energize him, then he gives himself to the fullest. And a little more about that round. The FaZe analyst told a little more about what happened. Regarding the 29th round on Nuke when TWISTZZ jumped off the barrel on the main and got rid of the player on the street and the player in the main, I saw that many people write that Electronics should have heard and reacted. But in fact, Dennis hardly had such an opportunity. The timing of Russell's jump coincided with the moment when Navi, most likely, had a lot of information in the TeamSpeak. And in addition to this, do not forget that the audience in the arena was added as a background. So, Dennis had every chance not to hear Russell's drop from the barrel, and the second fragment happened too quickly. Navi, I think, did not fully understand what was happening, but you can't blame them for that. In general, they were on top, and I want to express a huge respect to them for such a finale. Electronic also wrote in his Instagram that he in fact didn't hear TWISTZZ fall right over his head. There were a lot of shouting around. Everyone in the TeamSpeak was giving information. That's how it turned out. What about you, friends? Have you watched this finale? Do you consider it to be the best in history? And I'm already preparing fresh news release for tomorrow. Very cool insider information have come, so subscribe to the channel so you won't miss it. Okay guys, thanks for tuning in. See you soon!